This is the bio I'm going to share with you. Imagine a world in which people are self-motivated to achieve what they are truly capable of. A world where people don't hide behind masks, but rather embrace authenticity. A world that is not only capable of change, but grows from it. Our next speaker is definitely a rebel with many different names and titles. Teacher, mentor, speaker, entrepreneur, and even a ninja. He has presented a variety of talks and workshops to a lot of audiences, local and international, and to universities covering topics related to disability advocacy, awareness, and inclusion, with titles like The Power of the Mind, Growth Mindset, and Overcoming Your Challenges. So stepping out of his classroom today and joining us is a man who activates, impacts, and moves people to make these imaginings a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome the rebel ninja, Nick Smit.
Dance your destiny. Doctors said he would never walk, so he learned to dance. This story starts about 37 years ago, somewhere between Durban and Johannesburg. It was 10 a.m. on a scorching summer's day, as the sun was chasing animals into the shade of nearby trees. A family was traveling down to Durban for a holiday in 2 cars. While they were traveling, one of the car tires burst. They pulled over to the side of the road, put their hazard lights on, and began the task of fixing the problem. As the father attended to the tire, the mother attended to their 2 small children. The oldest was 5 years old at the time and was playing on the grass a few meters away. The youngest was 6 months old and was sitting in his car seat, which had just been undone when the unthinkable happened. A drunk driver traveling at over 120 kilometers an hour thought the cars were moving and collided with the first car. The grandparents were killed on impact. The father was trapped between the 2 cars and succumbed to his internal injuries 3 days later. The mother, who was still halfway in the car at the time, sustained a broken hip and severe whiplash. As for the baby, he went flying through the windscreen and landed some 15 meters away, a tiny red speck amongst the wreckage. And as for the older brother, well, he was physically unharmed. Fast forward a few days later, and the baby is fighting for his life in ICU. He's undergone quite a few operations, but still more needs to be done. The doctors inform the mother that he needs a blood transfusion. And it is then that the mother's sister refuses, owing to religious beliefs. She gives her a dreadful ultimatum and says, "Save your baby boy and lose your family, or lose your baby boy and keep your family." Well, I am that baby boy. It's 37 years later, and I'm living life to the full. I play pool, I dance, I love life, I teach, I'm an entrepreneur, and nothing stops me. I've gone skydiving and scuba diving and have way more on my bucket list. Doctors said I would never walk, so I learned to dance. And I've been dancing for about 18 years. Dancing has helped me find my rhythm and develop my passion. What's your passion? And has it changed your life? Now, I'm not saying go out and just dance. Don't grab a tutu and hit the boardroom, because you'll probably be fired. What I'm saying is learn to dance. That's DANCE. Be driven, be authentic, be nimble, be courageous, and be empowered. Today, I'm only going to focus on two of these, being driven and authentic. During my primary school career, there was an annual cross-country event, which I took part in. And every single year, I remember sweat dripping from my face and getting into my eyes. I remember the squelching shoes and the feeling of exhaustion. I remember the loneliness of being at the back of the pack. But I also remember the words of encouragement from my teachers and the cheers of the crowd as I got to the finish line. Yes, I came last every single year, except once. But what mattered was that I finished. It didn't matter where I placed. Today, I have that same determination and perseverance. Yes, my disability is my greatest weakness, but it's also my greatest strength. Have you challenged adversity head on? Have you pushed yourself beyond what you thought you were capable of? I used to run or co-host a podcast called Me 2.0, Being Real and Authentic. We had great times interviewing a lot of different guests, and a question we often asked was, have you ever chosen to be authentic at the cost of being an outsider? And the answers we got were varied. And this is because each person had their own story. In a global community and global environment where everything is available at the click of a button, how do you stand out? Naval Ravikant, an American Indian entrepreneur and investor, says it's easy. He says, you can escape competition through authenticity because no one can beat you at being you. Yes, standing out can be awkward and uncomfortable, but having the courage to be authentic is a unique strength and one that others will admire. Finding your tribe that values your uniqueness and authenticity and having the courage to take the risk to be yourself will be a hugely rewarding experience for you and for those around you. And you'll be amazed at what happens next. Before the age of 20, I used to do things to prove to others that I could do it. If they said I couldn't do it, I stepped up and I did it, no matter how long it took me or how hard it was. During my 20s, I did it just because I wanted to. I enjoyed life. And now, in my 30s and beyond, I want to use what I've learned and my life experience to aim, activate, impact, and move people to become more growth mindset orientated, less risk averse, and more ready to take control of their lives and create their own reality. And a British author, Vivian Green, says, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Come rain or shine, I want you to go out and dance your destiny. Thank you.